Okay, this was our warm-up, which is important to know because we're doing systems. How do we solve for y? Move your x divided by y. So how do I move my x on A? Minus 6x. So we subtract 6x from both sides. That cancels. Now what? What is my y?
5.
Yeah, so what's in front of y, right, is what we're dividing by. We're leaving the y alone, and this is what we get. Did this one simplify? Bless you. This is what we call lazy solving if we don't simplify it. Now, this one doesn't simplify, so this is your answer. So knowing that, what would we do here? Same thing. How do I move the x?
Plus 8.
Yeah, plus 8x. Now what? What is it? Divide everything by -10. If you forget the negative, I do need y'all to realize that that changes everything. Okay, so we're left with, this is what I call lazy solving, is what's left right here. However, this one does simplify. So this is it not simplified. And then if you do simplify, you get y equals negative, 12 over 5 minus 4 over 5x. Both of these, when graphed, are going to give you the exact same line. Okay, when we're doing what we're doing today, most of what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave as lazy solving because there's no reason to simplify. Okay, so knowing that, this is where we're at. So we are talking about systems. Systems are two or more equations using the same variables. Okay, the nice thing is in Algebra 1, we're really only looking at two equations, not more. So we don't have to worry about that part. Solutions are just where the two lines intersect, meet, touch, whatever word you want to use. It's where the two lines touch. So our examples, here's two of them. What I want you to realize is it says identify how many solutions the system has. How many solutions does this have? One. However, if I ever asked you what's the solution, are you going to say one solution? No, you're going to tell me the point. So yes, it has one solution, but what is the solution? 1, 1. So that is my solution to A. What about B? Why is it no solution? Yeah, they're two parallel lines. They will never touch. So there's no solution because if our solutions where they touch and they never touch, there isn't one. Now this one's a little weird because you only see one line, but what if I told you there were two lines on this paper? Well, doesn't that mean that it's the same line? So if two lines are directly on top of each other, do y'all remember what we call that? Yeah, infinitely many solutions. Because everywhere they touch is a solution, and they touch everywhere. I think I spelled it wrong, but yes. I don't need judgment. Don't look closer. Not you. You're good. Okay, so knowing that we're doing systems today, systems does usually have a lot of word problems, but it's not that bad. Okay, so we're going to do a couple together and then you'll have a practice. So I know, life stuff. Okay, word problem example. So a mail carrier delivers mail on one of two different routes, a morning route and an afternoon route. Each workday, the mail carrier is assigned one of these two routes. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, we went through the test last year and we looked at the most missed test questions. And the ones that were most missed are ones that had reading, that had word problems like this. The more words, the more likely it was missed. Because we're a little lazy. Yeah. Y'all, I know. I was trying to be nice. Okay, so my word of advice is to always read your question first. What is the distance of the morning route in miles? So your question is going to tell you your unknown. Sometimes it'll tell you both unknowns. Sometimes it'll just tell you one. So right now, I know that we don't know the distance of the morning route, right? So I'm going to just label that X. X equals morning miles. Okay, and then I'm going to read my bullet points. So it says last month the mail carrier delivered mail on the morning route 16 times. So I know that morning route miles is X 16 times, and on the afternoon route 12 times, for a total distance traveled of 141 miles. Do I know the distance of the afternoon route? No. I know how many times they traveled it, but I don't know the distance. So guess what that is? RY. So now we know what our two letters are and we can write our equations. Each bullet point here is an equation. So I know for my first bullet point, which is my first equation, 16 times we drove X amount of miles for my morning route. And so plus, we did the afternoon route 12 times. So 12 times the distance. And my total distance was 141 miles. So my second one, what's my equation going to be? 10x plus 15y Now I left space so I can solve them because can I type them in the calculator like that? No. What do I have to do? Solve for y. So when I solve for y, we're moving the x divided by y. And do we need to simplify? No. Okay. So I'm literally going to do what we call lazy solving. So minus 16x minus 16x. This cancels. Now what? Divide by 12. And I'm literally going to type it in the calculator like that. Okay, so the next one, how am I going to type that? Or what do I do first? Minus 10x. Minus 10x. Now what? Divide by 15. And I'm going to type them in. So we have, I'm going to plug this in. Y equals 141 divided by 12 minus 16x divided by 12. So it doesn't care that I did not simplify. Y equals 123.75 divide 15 minus 10x divide 15. And there's my answer. Did I? Oh, my bad. Thanks, y'all. There we go. Okay, so knowing that, this is my answer. So I know my answer is 5.25 comma 4.75. But I have to go, before I write my answer here, I need to go back to the question. And what's the question? And what represents morning miles? X. So what's the X of my answer? So 5.25 what? Miles. So you have to be super careful when you're writing your answer. Sometimes they will screw you up and say, what's the Y? So you just have to be really careful and read your question. Yes? Always reread your question before you pick an answer. Another super important tool is labeling your X and Y on your paper because that will help you remember what's what. Questions, comments, concerns? Okay, we're going to look at a couple more and then I'm going to let y'all practice. We're going to skip number 1 because y'all, honestly, it's already set up. Solve for Y, right? Super simple. Move your X divided by Y both times. Look at number 2 though. So again, I'm going to read my question. It says, which system of equations represents the graph of these two lines? There's 2 different ways to do this. Okay. One way we could do this, could we solve all these for Y and type them in? Yes. Do you really want to solve 8 equations for Y? Yeah. I mean, if that's what you remember, is it an option? Yes. Yeah, but does anybody really want to do that much work? No. So I'm going to tell y'all an easier way. Are you given 2 tables? Do we always tell you if you're given a table, type it in? Yep. So guess what we're going to do? Type it in. So we're going to type in both tables. Now we're only going to do them one at a time because we're getting the equation. Because isn't that what it's asking for is equations? It has equations. Now they're not the form we want, but it's not a big deal. So we're going to do our Y1 squiggle. And when we do Y1 squiggle, y'all, what am I doing? What are you doing? I don't know. Y1 squiggle, yes. MX1 plus B. I get my equation. Now, my equation's in a different form, but it doesn't matter. So I know my equation is negative 6x plus 15. Everybody okay with that? Okay, so I want y'all to find the equation of the second table. Just erase your first table. Don't make a new table because then it's going to be x2, y2. Okay, type it in, type it in, type it in. Not right this second. No. We're recording. Yeah, God. Tell me you don't listen. Okay, when y'all get the equation, I want somebody to tell it to me. Y equals what? Stop. Jocelyn, I'm about to make you sit in the hall. Who got it? What is it? Okay, we have these two equations. Neither of them match anything here. However, aren't these all in standard form? Doesn't standard form just have x and y on the same side? Can we move x to make it be on the same side as y? How would you move x here?
Plus 3x?
No, the first one. Plus 6x. Plus 6x. Is this a positive y or a negative y? So we get 6x plus y equals 15. Do any of my answer choices have that?
Yeah.
Which one?
D.
D. Is that the only one? There we go. There, we're done. Was that bad?
Yes.
Was it as bad as solving 8 equations for y? No, that was way easier than solving 8 equations. Okay, last one we're gonna look at together is number 4. Kind of. Y'all are gonna, just hold on. Okay, this one y'all have had on a DPM, y'all have had on a test, and it's always one of our most missed. Okay, so again, we're gonna read our question first. It says, what is the cost per click on website 1? So what can we label that our X? So it's talking about advertising. That's what it means by cost per click, like on a website. If you're advertising on a website, this company's charging per click on that advertisement. Okay, so it says a company advertises on 2 websites. Each website charges a different amount based on the number of clicks on the advertisement. The table shows the number of clicks on each website and the total cost for each of the 2 days. So I'm given a total and I'm given 2 unknowns. I don't know how much each website charges. Okay, so website 1 can be X because that's what we're solving for. We can call that clicks, or let's say money per click on website 1. So therefore, what's Y? Anybody? Yeah, it's the money per click on website 2. Read the table. Number of clicks, website 1, number of clicks, website 2, and our total cost. Anytime you're given a total cost, y'all, it's going to be AX plus BY equals C. Anytime you're given a total cost, because C is always a total. Okay, so knowing that, how many clicks did I get on Monday on website 1? So 15 clicks times your money plus what else? 29 on website 2 equals 94.15. Don't let it be confusing. Number of clicks, so these both get an X because they're both website 1. These both get a Y because they're both website 2, and they equal the total. It's literally just setting it up across. So knowing that, can we solve them for Y and type them in our calculator? Yeah. Yes. So how am I going to solve this first one for Y? Minus 15x on both sides. Oh, you might have said the bottom one. Sorry. And now what? By 29. Do I need to simplify?
No.
No. Okay, what about the second equation? Divide by. And then type them in. So yep. Okay, so my answer is 2.7, comma 1.85. But again, what did I say? We always have to be careful of and read again. The question. So it says, what is the cost of clicks on website 1? Well, we said cost of clicks for website 1 is X. So what's my answer? 2.7. Any questions with those? Okay. We're gonna look at, I want y'all to try number 5 and number 6.
Okay.
So I'm giving y'all a couple minutes. Y'all are trying number 5 and number 6. Okay. On this one, 5, we should have put them in our tables, yes? So what equation did we get for the first table? I have it pulled up. So we get y equals 5x minus 7, yes? And what did y'all get for the second one? So we get these two equations. Now, do you notice that one of our equations is in the y equals form? So which two can I cross off? C and D right away. Now, before I even solve, which one is going to match? B. Now, if I did add 4x, I get 4x plus y equals 12. So I mean, that's the correct one. Any questions with that one? Okay. This one we like because it gives us our equations in a different form. Do you notice it didn't give you a total?
Yeah.
Did we know the total?
No.
That's how I know it's going to be in y equals mx plus b form. So remember, when it gives you a total, that's when we use standard form. This one didn't give us a total, so I don't know. So it's not going to be in standard form. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so knowing that, it says the Studio Q charges a $30 registration fee plus $80 per month. When I see the word each, every, or per, what do I put? X. So this is my first equation. So what would be my second equation? Yes. So there's my two equations. So is this one pretty simple?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm gonna just type it in to my computer. What am I doing? I don't know. I am. Okay, and then we need to find where they intersect. So we just need to zoom out, and I'll tell you, if you click on the line, a gray dot will pop up where they intersect. Yes? When it's like this. So my answer is 5, 430, but I need to pay attention to the question. So it says, after how many months will the total cost of the dance lessons equal this, or will be equal? Well, didn't I put an X? What word was after per? Month. So X is your months. So what's my answer? A, yes, which is 5. Questions, comments, concerns? Okay, you're going to go into Schoology. I know y'all are so excited.
No.
Schoology. Look, everybody's going to know my... Look off of it.
I guessed it. It's the popcorn.
It's not.
It's actually the apple. It's the drums.
It's not.
It's the apple.
Okay, you're going to go to our class. Today is week 14, Thursday. And you're doing the systems exit ticket. If you need to show work, some of them do need work. Could you use the whiteboards?
Yes.
You can also use any extra paper on this packet. This is what y'all are doing. Ready to go. And this is a grade.